Hello and start with bloopers. Hello and welcome to DevSpresso. My name is JJ. Today with me is Peter. Hey, Peter.
Hey all.
And today we'll be, of course, discussing last week's updates to JavaScript and what happened in JavaScript world from developers' perspective. And we'll be talking about Astro 2.3. There will be TypeScript 5.1 beta. I don't know, Node 20 came out. Pretty interesting features. I don't know what more. What do you have from news,
New
Peter?
Chrome was released. Also, New Babylon 6.0 was released. There is new version of one of my favorite packages right now called PartyTown. So yeah, there are a lot of things.
That's cool. All right, then let's go.
DevSpresso.
All right, so today we're gonna start with Astro.js. For those of you who might not know, Astro is a static site generator that allows developers to build sites using almost any popular front-end framework or library. Current version is 2.3. And since version 2, they've included lots of updates, and Astro is like gaining momentum. So currently, they've added automatic type safety for Markdown and MDX. So if you use MDX in your system, Astro gives you some extra protection and nice tools like schema validation, SEO best practices, automatic generated types. So it's like, okay, you're moving forward with that. Also, there is a mode for hybrid rendering now. So static, dynamic, like you can get the best of both worlds. What more? Improved the dev server, HMR, so hot model reload, and this is of course awesome. Vite 4.0, that's Vite 4.0. So that's cool new feature. And they released a public roadmap, which is a great thing. As always, I really like to think like, I remember when Angular released their own, it was like, whoa, cool. And then people started doing it. It's like, I really like when the roadmap of this kind of project is open.
Yeah.
So
But
Astro,
from what you taught, my personal favorite is right now like hybrid rendering. I love it in Next, and I already love it in Astro. It's super. It's super.
Yeah, it seems to be so simple and it gives you so many functionalities. It's just great. So back to your topic, it's like in Astro 2.2, they've added already support from MDX, enabling developers to write Markdown documents within your inline React components. And finally, now in 2.3, they brought image optimization, automatically optimizing images to reduce their size and improve page load times. So, of course, this is useful for many projects, and as always, we say it's like better, faster, stronger. Yeah. So with these updates, Astro has become even more powerful tool for developers to build fast and modern things. I really like that. I'm really waiting to start some project in Astro and go with that.
Yeah. As for my news, you already thought that Astro 2.3 or 2.3 mostly, introduced Vite 4.0. Yes. So there's newer version of it called Vite 4.3. And
all right,
Vite is growing. Probably you know Vite and you're using Vite in your products and then in your applications. But for Vite, this new minor update 4.3 focuses on what is probably the most important part, that dev server performance. And of course, they changed some logic, which is right now streamlined. They are improved hot paths, implementing smarter caching for your package JSON. Of course, tsconfig files, etc. Which means those improvements result in faster cold start, warm dev server startups. So it is 1.5x or even 2.0x faster dev startup times. And of course, it depends whether you use Vite with Webpack or you use Vite with SVC. But yeah, it is super fast and probably right now Vite is one of a builder, which you will use.
Builders there.
Yeah, you'll just use it. Additionally, Vite created new plugin. Like created, they actually updated it a little bit. The Vite plugin is Inspect, which is a plugin which gives you performance-related info for your applications, so you can just identify performance issues by typing Vite -- profile or pressing P, and then you just have set it up a profile, and you'll see how many CPU is for your dev server. That's cool, and I am amazed how Vite is growing, but we need to remember one thing. Yeah, Vite 4.3 is super fast. Creators of Vite are actually waiting for Vite 5.0, like the newer version of it. So if you want to discuss it, you can go just to GitHub and give them feedback.
And see everything there. And while talking about version 5, it's like easy to switch to a topic of TypeScript. TypeScript 5.0 was released recently, and 5.1 beta is already available. And it's pretty interesting thing, because programmer manager for TypeScript, Daniel Rosenwasser, wrote on blog post that 5.0 is a not disruptive release, and everything you know is still applicable. And what does that mean is that there are not many breaking changes to go with 5.0 if you want to go with 5.0, but it gives you a lot of new tools, and that's cool. So documentation is really long this time, but all changes are more like from the setup side of TypeScript, I would say. So okay, multiple configuration files, for example, can be used. Two extensions to how TypeScript handles creation of JavaScript documentation. So it's like for documentation update for JS docs, exactly. Some new flags, better support for EcmaScript modules. But the biggest thing, in my opinion, for devs right now is the first thing in Daniel post, which will be decorators. And decorators are on stage 3 proposal to EcmaScript right now. So Microsoft is ahead of its time, and that's cool. They are already prepared, because proposal on stage 3, it will be sooner or later it will be provided as some kind of polyfill or thing like that, and after 1 year we'll start using it natively in one browser, then progress will go. But TypeScript is already prepared. I'm really happy that they are ahead of their time with the functionalities that they are providing. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is something that I was really waiting for. I hoped for that. It's support for export type asterisk. So TypeScript 3.8 introduced type-only imports, and the new syntax wasn't allowed to use export asterisk from some kind of module, or export asterisk as something from some module. So this kind of re-exports. And TypeScript 5.0 adds support for both of these forms, and that's great for me. Other than that, there are a few depreciations, and there's really, really small amount of breaking changes. So if you'll be more interested, you can already use TypeScript 5.0. 5.1 will require a little bit more of the setup. Probably it's in beta, but other than that, you're ready to go if your environment is ready to go, right?
Yeah. I will probably check it out, but I'm mostly, as you said, I'm mostly interested in decorators, but also with exporting asterisks, like type asterisks, because I saw some projects where I will need to just not export types from different files, just export it from the whole module and just give me that. I want auto-completion based on my types. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So you talked a lot that TypeScript documentation is very, very long. And I found that Babylon's new version is also having like really long documentation, changelog. So first things first, like Babylon 6.0, probably you will know or not, Babylon is the library for creating 3D models by using WebGL and that kind of features. So this is just a library to help us out in JS world. And this new release is mostly including performance improvements, rendering enhancements, etc., etc. But there are few cool new features. And first things is Havot physics implementation. You might be thinking, what is Havot? If you're gaming for a longer time, Havot is an game engine, mostly physics game engine, which was used in different games before since 1998, something in that dates. So yeah, Babylon is having that implementation, and what is cool, Havot implementation is free in Babylon, so you can use it.
That's so awesome.
That is awesome. Due to that, you have of course new physics API to use. There is right now fluid rendering, so if you have fluids to render on your scene, you can do it. Of course, the texture decals ray marching, what they call it, node material ray marching for giving you more of a features when the light is more natural on a material. There is graphic UI editor version 1, and that is something new for Babylon, so you can have in your browser a little bit of UI to build and interact with your scene. What is cooler for me is that right now they do have accessibility, screen reader implementation and support. So if you do something on your scene and you have an object, you can easily attach them a proper accessibility features. So if someone needs that and want to use it for screen readers, they can do it. They reorganize documentation and edit a new extension. So which means if you're having a Figma user interface already created and you want to put it on your scene, you can do it just with one click, because install an extension, click, hey, put it to Babylon. That's it. So that's cool. And I think that's mostly this. There are a lot of other things, but I think Havok physics implementation is one of the most important in that news.
Would you say that Babylon is getting stronger? It's I remember that Free.js was always the best solution.
Yep.
Currently, Babylon is it gives you a little bit of a framework feeling with some things that you will need to do manually or with some extensions in Free.js.
Yep. That's my feeling. Babylon is getting stronger. So whenever you'll need to create a 3D scene in your web application, probably Babylon will be your good to go library, not Free.js. But it depends.
Sure. It all depends. It always depends, of course. Depends on the use. All right, let's move to another news, because it might be a big one for you guys. It's EcmaScript 2023. It was already updated, and the specification is already up to date. We know what would be implemented in this year EcmaScript specification. So there are a few things that I'm really excited about. I'm really happy about this update, and cool features are coming. So first thing is array find from last. And it's you can already understand what that means. You can find from the end of the array, start searching from the end of the array, and you can find index from last. So it will start from the end of the array. I believe there are many cases, and this is just optimization for performance. So if you'll be thinking this will be probably somewhere at the end of the array, then use this method, But other than that, cool. We have already so many methods that this might be implemented as well. I don't have anything against that. Second thing, which is pretty important, will be permitting symbols as keys in weak map keys. This will extend weakmap API to allow the use of these unique symbols. Now, this will be very important for garbage collection because till now, like, it was always tangled somewhere, and you could easily end up with some problems with memory leakage. Currently, weak maps will support symbols, and that's it. Garbage collector will automatically be able to find it much more easily if you'll use a symbol as a key. Next thing is change array by copy. And this is something that will put an end to like, spreading array and assigning it to another variable as array. So it provides additional methods to array.
I do love it. I do love it. But let's talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, it's they are going to be pretty simple to use. First will be to reversed, so it will automatically reverse your array. So that will put, I don't know, will it put an end to a question for junior and mid developers? Do you know how to reverse an array? Write me a script how to reverse an array. This kind of question, because right now there will be a method for that to reverse. And yeah, and see you later. Another thing, method to sorted. Another thing is method to spliced, and another one will be called with, which will like check the value if it's included in this parameter and return this value. And all those methods will be making a copy of the array, and there won't be any kind of a problem with
no more mutation
and
no more mutations anymore. Like, you can have just one single array is an original, and every single method will just return you a new array. Actually, this is perfect.
Yes. Yeah, that's really, it's like, I feel that this is a progress.
Oh yeah, this is a progress.
Yeah, and the last thing will be just a hash band grammar. Like, there's a line at the beginning, like hash stating what kind of script engine to use to run it, and this is just technicality. This will be more important for people creating like low-level solutions, libraries, doing something with your files. This will just make everything look more similar. So to sum it up, EcmaScript, traditionally finalizes update versions of EcmaScript in June. So we have more than a month right now to see the final version of EcmaScript 2023. But these 4 things will be definitely included in the last year's EcmaScript 2022 featured class elements and top-level await capabilities. So that will be all for that. And I'm really happy about this update. It's like, it will give us a lot of things to work with. Like, I'm happy about this update. Like, I feel that it's a progress.
Yeah, it's not types, but yeah, it's good. So yeah, let's go to the next beta update, which is new version of Chrome. Yeah, Chrome is our engine of a web mostly. So yeah, new version of Chrome was released, and due to that we have few new features. And first one is the one that I love, because it's about CSS, and it means right now Chrome 112 supports nesting rows. So no more creating asterisks and different things to just align the proper element. It is the same as you will use in SAS. Just nest it, and it's great. What is even greater is that, as far as I know, new Safari in technical preview right now, they also support CSS nesting rules, which means probably in next few months, Chrome and WebKit will have the same features of supporting CSS nesting. That will be perfect, and you will no need of preprocessors anymore. Another one is the changing of algorithm for initial focus and dialog elements in Chrome. That is changing how the initial focus works, and I don't want to get into it. They also changed the fetch handlers on service workers, and right now they are just skipped to make navigations a little bit faster. But the
Okay.
biggest change is what they called, hey, there's a new headless mode, and you'll say, what the hell? What new headless mode?
What's new headless mode? Exactly.
Yeah,
There was headless mode of Chrome and Chromium. What is new
yeah, and
headless
in
mode?
Puppeteer, because Puppeteer was using Chrome underneath.
Exactly as
Yeah,
well.
so the idea is, and the whole history of Chrome headless, yeah, since 2017, Chrome had headless mode. It was used in Puppeteer, in Chrome Driver, in different implementations of different toolings. But the
Mm-hmm.
problem was that the headless Chrome was different core, like different application within the exe file of Chrome, like in the proper application, which
Say
means we
what?
had we had two different implementations of a browser. And that introduced different problems. For example, if you had a bug in your proper Windows or window full, so head full
Mm-hmm.
Chrome, when you had a bug and it was fixed, it wasn't fixed in headless mode by default, which may introduce
Mm-hmm.
new problems for us as developers, as you might test your app in your fully Chrome version and it is good, and then you're writing test in Puppeteer and it fails and you don't know why. So
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
they're doing since Chrome 112, they actually making like merging those two implementations, and there will be only one
I
implementation
understand.
of
Uh-huh.
Chrome. So in the end, you will be either headless on headful whenever you need it. And the idea is that
Okay.
if you want to use older version of headless, probably you don't want it, but if you really want it, you can use it by adding
Mm-hmm.
a new parameter, headless dash dash headless equals old, and then you'll have an old version of it. So yeah, what is even cool, Puppeteer will be deprecating and will be stop supporting older version of headless later
Uh-huh.
this year.
Cool, cool. I can see that there on their blog post. Yeah, like Chrome included two version as headful and headless, and currently they've merged them.
Yep, yep.
Okay. Oh my God. I didn't knew all of that. That's not good.
That's not good.
That's not
We
good.
didn't notice that before. We might had a glimpse that hey something is wrong, but we
Mm-hmm.
actually didn't know that there were two different implementations until they said hey they are actually two different implementations. So yeah,
I can understand that. Okay, so while talking about engines and environments, like it's easy to guess, we got Node 20 that was released recently, and we don't talk much about Node usually. Like these
yeah,
updates are not the most important for us. Like we are running some scripts and libraries. Like there are other people handling this side of JavaScript world, but this time, well, first of all, we'll always tell you about new updates and what's happening with Node. We are just not gonna get into the deeper topics in that, but this time is different. Node 20 is already available, and if you probably want to upgrade your project, you should. This time we get a few features that we are going to talk about. So first thing, they introduced experimental permission model that allows developers to restrict access to specific resources during execution. Because why would you keep your whole environment open, when you don't need it? It's simple as that. That's great. We know that Dino started with completely different
yeah,
approach, and this is something that was not in Node. But it's like transition to Dino is so slow, and people are not. I haven't heard a lot about projects
yeah,
in my career in Dino right now, although I'm not looking for them. But other than that, it's great that Node also includes this kind of update. Second important update: custom EcmaScript modules load their hook that run in dedicated thread. This means that it all's going to be even faster. As we say in this podcast, better, faster, stronger, and that's always right. And that's always right. This is just great. If they are able to provide this kind of functionality, I'm sure that sooner or later one of my projects will start automatically utilizing it, and I will be so happy when I see, whoa, my pipelines are so much quicker.
Yep.
So also there is sorry. So also there's update to of V8 engine, again, better, faster, stronger, and new features from V8 engine. That's great. And another thing is that Test Runner is now stable. Performance team has made improvements to the fundamental parts of the runtime. So it's like we are slowly starting to compare like Node Test Runner with Jest. And we are slowly getting there, like many more things are being implemented. So I'm really happy about that. It's like awesome. And the last thing, which is I think is a game changer. And this is something that I specifically did not tell you before we started recording. Now you can create single executable apps. And that means that you can run Node apps whenever you want, wherever you want, because you can compile application into single executable with entire Node.js core. Ta-da!
It's
so
cool.
you can run it on system without Node or in system where that you don't trust Node implementation because it will be already binded
Like
into
you
your
don't need a Docker to run your application then, because you will be having a Docker in the executable. But I have one single concern, and that concern is how big my application will be, because I need to attach.
And I got update for you, and I've got information for you because Vesbos answered that question, and he was the guy that posted it on Twitter that this update is coming and it is here. And he compared Dino and Node.js, and they are both around 90 megabytes because, of course, underneath it's the same engine. So it's like, what would you expect? So they are like really getting there. Like Dino started very strong with the statements and what they are doing, but Node slowly is getting back there
If it
with
will
the
be just
stable releases and things like that.
Yeah, if it will just 90 megabytes.
Hello World is around 90 megabytes. Yeah.
It won't be that much. Of course, there will be other parts like your third-party libraries and so on, but yeah, it is fine to have one single executable, and we don't need to Dockerize it and just run it whenever we need it. If there is some server underneath, like the proper VM, for example. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Also, later on he wrote on his Twitter that around 90 megabytes was because of the Intel API that he used there. If you restrict it just to English, you can remove around 20 megabytes.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
I love it. It will be even smaller. That's best update in Node that I've heard for a long time.
This is very good. That will be a game changer, and probably for some different projects like Electron or Tauri or some kind of that, they will try to introduce that for their own backends. Yeah, that's cool.
Yep. I think that will be it. That's great. So I'm really happy Node 20, if you can, it's start to get into current mode. It's gonna be there in a few weeks or something. Currently, it's still 18 is in LTS, of course, but 20 is gonna get there in around 6 months. So currently, we can start implementing, switching to new version, and Node 12. If you still have Node 12 somewhere, well, I pity you. Sorry. I'm really sorry for you, and I hope you're gonna upgrade to a newer version. There are many things there. That's all about Node.
Okay, so let's move to the next topic, which is one of my new favorite packages that is releasing every single, mostly weeks to weeks on a weekly basis. And it is PartyTown, and I love it. I love PartyTown already. And what is PartyTown is a lazy loaded library which helps you to relocate how your intensive scripts, third-party scripts, what's mostly for, into web worker, which will be run in a dedicated thread and off from the main thread of JS.
Oh my!
Which means
Oh
you will be
my.
offloading your third-party scripts from the main thread, and main thread will be faster, which means you will be having a much faster and much performant application in the end. And unfortunately, PartyTown is right now in beta, so it is not for every single scenario. And if you want to use it, probably I'm not gonna recommend it to use it on production. But as a POC or on a stage, yeah, not yet. But right now, I'm saying, like, if you wanna use it POC and staging, probably it is a good to test it. What PartyTown is doing differently than other similar packages is that it needs a little bit of configuration and setup, but it is very, very simple. And they do have implementation guides for either Shopify or WordPress, Gatsby, or even Next.js. And for that matter, Next.js is already having a component for scripts called script. And that script can have different strategy how this script is attached to your app. So you need to, of course, add experimental tag in your next config.js, which will be next worker strategy true or something like that. And then you can have worker strategy as a strategy for your script, and that's where PartyTown is used underneath. So it is pretty simple. If you're using Next.js, just to change the strategy and you'll have PartyTown already.
That's great. I just love where there are projects that are, exporting things to web workers, things like that. Oh, I would definitely prefer some package to do it and do it on my own. It can take a lot of time and things like that, but it's just great that web workers are starting and are utilized so much and getting used so much. It's just great, because I still remember when we were debugging what's happening with GTM, and we needed to put timeout for loading that script, and it was like, I don't remember, it was next 6 or 7, somewhere around there. We worked with that, right? And I remember we we needed to do
we try to fight it. Have to make much more performant application to load GTM or any third-party scripts, just to render the page and then load it. But it was a nightmare.
It was a sketchy solution.
Right now you have PartyTown and you don't need to do it on your own. It will be put into the web worker. Yeah, web workers are catchy. We know about it. So probably that's why PartyTown is saying, hey, it is still in beta and you need to look into it and know how to configure it properly. But if you do it as they ask you to do it, it works much more better than any other library that I used before.
Exactly. And while talking about Vercel, there is a small thing that I would like to say, because Vercel Web Analytics are currently in generally available right now for insights on your top pages, reference, demographics, countries, whatever you pick. It's like what they've done is they are tracing user by hash created from incoming requests. And that's pretty cool for me. With Web Manifest version 3, is version 3, right? Version 3 will be blocking ad blockers and things like that. I don't remember it's version 3 or version 4, but they are blocking access to preventing analytics from grabbing your data. I like that Vercel is providing totally secure solution that will not allow to track you through any third-party scripts, things like that, because this will be the way how their analytics are generated. And after 24 hours, this hash disappears, no matter if you have active session or if you have active session, probably not, but if you're just a user, this will just be removed. Also, it's what they are saying, and this is why I also brought it up. They say it's smaller than Google Analytics 44 times.
Okay.
And it's like I'm really happy about it because it seems that it might be good. It's a good thing because always when there's a competition, it's a good thing. And Vercel is kind of a big company, big enough to buy next than other things, and they're
Yeah, yeah.
expanding rapidly.
I'm thinking it is also good, like as you said, competition is good, but in terms of hey, how we'll handle analytics, which is underneath it, what we mostly call PII data, so personal identification information, and for those data, Google Analytics is in some countries not compliant with GDPR, and that's not good. And I'm curious how Vercel is trying to be compatible with GDPR. For my personal usage, I don't use Google Analytics anymore. I use Cloudflare Analytics, which they say and I checked it, they don't create any cookie. They are tracking actually the whole traffic where it goes, but they cannot track you per se. So it's probably the same as Vercel's tracking by hash. That will be cool. If Vercel will be having it, then probably I will be even omitting Cloudflare because my websites and applications are hosted on Vercel. So I need to check it out.
Yeah, definitely, and it's nice from the perspective that they state that they will be not tracking users per se. Like they need analytics, not your personal data. There's a
Yeah.
difference in that, So I'm happy about it, and it's cool. It's cool. So they just announced that they are generally available. So if you're using Vercel, this one will be available for you as well.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so I have the last one, the last news probably, and the last news for the whole episode.
It did.
So I don't know if you know, but there is one guy called Chatsitantra or Sid on Twitter. It is said, and he tweeted that he got a legal notice from Oracle. But I was like, hey, why did you got a legal notice from Oracle? And we know Oracle is very good in sending legal notices because they do have a lot of trademarks. So they do own a trademark for JS, for JavaScript, for that matter, which means if you're having JS in your naming of your company, then you might get a legal notice because they having a trademark for JS, and that's what the hell. Like Next.js is having it, but probably it is not a company. It is just a tool. Let's go that way. It is a tool, which means it is not a proper trademark, and you cannot do anything about it. But if you're going to use it like for a name of a company, that's a bummer. But I already hate how Oracle is doing it because it is bad.
I've just wrote right now why Oracle has this trademark of JavaScript. So it's because they bought in 2009 Sun Microsystem and Netscape earlier was some kind of so JavaScript just was part of the deal as a name, and they are also not providing anything to JavaScript community and JavaScript world. So it's like, yeah, you could like release it and give us a break. And last year, I remember, Ryan Doll, the creator of Node and Deno, of course, just like great guy, and Ryan wrote open letter to Oracle, like requesting to release JavaScript trademark. And I never heard anything since that. Like, why would they listen to that? They prefer to smack people with legal notices, right?
Yeah, let's get some money. We won't give you anything to the community for JS community mostly, but if you're using JS trademarks, hey, give us money. Like, this is the legal notice.
This name is ours. This name is ours.
This name is ours.
Yeah.
You're good to go. I hate it.
Not cool. I hope the Java works on all those 3 billion machines that you wrote down in 1995. I hope it still works.
Yeah.
Not cool. All right, so this is how we came to an end. This episode is already very long. We are really sorry for that, but there were a few things that we wanted to inform you about what's happening, what changed, and what are the updates. So thanks you very much, Peter, for coming to today's episode.
I'm very happy to be here again, and very happy to share anything and my ideas and things and thoughts about what is in JS world right now. Thank you very much, JJ.
Yeah, we'll definitely go to jumpstart this project again. It was already created. We're gonna jumpstart it again in new way, new version. You can see us already here, and we're gonna be providing you with JavaScript news and updates from every other week. So next week, I'm sure you're gonna meet Peter. We'll see who from DevSpresso team who's gonna join him.
That will be a surprise.
Thank you very much. That's going to be a surprise. Yeah, we'll see. So thank you very much for joining. Thank you guys for listening, and let's roll the outro. Hey, thanks for staying till the end. This is obviously outro message with all the links and information that could help you to support us or just contact us. And we greatly appreciate both. This channel is not supported by any big company or organization, so any donation is really gonna make a big difference and will allow us to expand and provide more content like that for you. You can contact us on social media like TikTok or Instagram for now. Also, we have special email address if you'd like to reach out to us or just give us feedback. We really appreciate that and we're looking forward to hearing from you. And if you really think that we've earned it, you can buy us a coffee. Link is here. So thank you again. All the links are down in the description and see you next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe.